What if the love of your life was also the worst thing that ever happened to you? What if the person who made you feel alive for the very first time was also the person who taught you how to break the law? And what if chasing freedom slowly turned you into someone you no longer recognized? Today, we're diving into House of the Caroline, a crime thriller wrapped inside a heartbreaking love story. This is the story of Caroline, a lonely small-town girl trapped in a life she never chose. And Oliver, a charming drifter whose smile can make you trust him, even when you know you shouldn't. Together, they become something dangerous, something unstoppable. But before we get into the story, make sure to subscribe because this movie has one of the most emotional and devastating character journeys we've seen in years. Now, let's begin. The movie opens in a small Texas town, the kind of place where nothing ever changes. The roads are empty, the summer heat feels endless, and everyone seems stuck in the same routine day after day. Among them is Caroline, a young woman who works at a gas station convenience store. Every day feels exactly the same. Stock shelves, clean counters, go home, wake up, repeat. She lives with her father, a quiet man who has spent years sitting comfortably in the same chair, content with the life he has. But Caroline isn't content, not even close. Deep inside, she feels trapped. She's never left Texas, never traveled, never experienced anything exciting, and perhaps most painful of all, she has never known her mother. Years ago, Caroline's mother disappeared from her life. She abandoned Caroline and her father when Caroline was still a baby. Since then, Caroline has spent her entire life wondering, why did she leave? Did she ever think about coming back? And most importantly, was Caroline somehow the reason? These questions have haunted her for years, but Caroline doesn't know that her entire life is about to change because of one stranger walking through a gas station door. One afternoon, a man enters the store. His name is Oliver. Immediately, something feels different about him. Maybe it's his confidence, maybe it's his smile, or maybe it's the way he carries himself, like he has nowhere to be and everywhere to go. Caroline watches him carefully. At first, nothing seems unusual, but then she notices something strange happening at the register. Oliver asks the elderly cashier if he can exchange some bills. Money begins moving back and forth across the counter. A 20 becomes smaller bills, then those bills become something else. The conversation never stops. The cashier becomes distracted, and before anyone realizes what's happened, Oliver walks away with more money than he started with. It's a classic short change scam. A psychological trick, a con. Most people wouldn't have noticed, but Caroline does. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough. She knows something just happened, something clever, something illegal. And instead of being angry, she's impressed. As Oliver leaves, Caroline can't stop thinking about him. Her curiosity grows stronger. Who is this guy? How did he do that? And why does he make her feel more alive than anything else in this town? That night, she spots his Chevrolet parked outside a local roadhouse. Most people would drive past. Caroline pulls in. Something inside her refuses to let the moment go. She has to see him again. Inside the roadhouse, music plays, people dance, beer flows, and sitting there is Oliver. When Caroline approaches him, she surprises him immediately. Instead of accusing him of being a criminal, she asks how he pulled off the scam. Oliver laughs. For perhaps the first time in a long time, somebody isn't judging him. They're fascinated by him. The two begin talking, then flirting, then talking some more, and before long it feels like they've known each other forever. Oliver tells stories, Caroline listens. Caroline shares dreams, Oliver listens. That's the key thing. For the first time in her life, somebody is truly listening. As the night continues, Oliver explains his philosophy. He doesn't see himself as a bad person. In his mind, most of his scams hurt corporations, banks, businesses, people with more money than they'll ever need. He isn't robbing struggling families. He's gaming a system that he believes is already unfair. Whether he's right or wrong is another question entirely, but Caroline is captivated, not because she suddenly wants to become a criminal, but because Oliver represents freedom, the freedom she's always wanted, the freedom to leave, the freedom to become somebody else, the freedom to stop feeling stuck. The chemistry between them is immediate. Electric, dangerous. One conversation becomes several become hours, and before sunrise they find themselves completely wrapped up in each other. For Caroline, it feels like destiny. For Oliver, it feels like finding something he never knew he was looking for. neither realizes how much damage they're about to cause, not just to others, but to themselves. Over the next few days, Caroline and Oliver become inseparable. She learns more about his life, he learns more about hers, and eventually Caroline reveals. As Caroline and Oliver hit the road, everything feels like an adventure. At first, the crimes are small. Oliver teaches Caroline how to read people, manipulate situations, and pull off clever scams. He shows her that the secret isn't stealing money, it's understanding human nature. Caroline proves to be a fast learner. Soon, she's helping Oliver run cash scams, pickpockets, and steal credit card information. Every successful con gives her a rush she has never felt before. For the first time in her life, she feels powerful, and Oliver loves watching her transform. The more confident Caroline becomes, the deeper their relationship grows. They're not just partners in crime anymore, they're completely in love. Days turn into weeks, miles turn into memories, and crime becomes part of their romance. But there is one problem. The thrill never lasts. Every successful scam makes them want something bigger, something riskier, something more dangerous. Then Caroline suggests the unthinkable. Why not rob a bank? Oliver hesitates, but only for a moment. Soon Caroline is walking into banks wearing disguises, carrying a gun, and demanding cash. And shockingly, she's good at it. The shy girl from the gas station is disappearing. A new Caroline is emerging. But what happens next changes everything. The deeper they fall into crime, the harder it becomes to escape. And for the first time, Caroline begins to wonder, are they good people pretending to be bad, or bad people pretending to be good? As their crime spree spreads across the South, Caroline and Oliver become addicted to the lifestyle. Money isn't the goal anymore. The rush is, the freedom is, the feeling of being untouchable is. But no one stays lucky forever. Every robbery increases the risk. Every mistake brings the police closer. And beneath all the excitement, Caroline is still searching for answers about her mother. Eventually, they arrive in South Carolina, the place Caroline has dreamed about for years, the place where she hopes her life will finally make sense. After a long search, she finally finds her mother. But reality is nothing like the fantasy she created in her head. The reunion is painful, awkward, heartbreaking. Instead of finding comfort, Caroline discovers old wounds that never healed. Years of abandonment suddenly come crashing down on her. The answers she wanted don't bring peace. They only create more pain. And that pain changes her. Meanwhile, Oliver can see her slipping away. For the first time since they met, their future together feels uncertain. The dream they've been chasing begins to crumble. And as the walls close in around them, both realize something terrifying. You can run from the law, but you can't run from yourself. As pressure mounts from every direction, Caroline and Oliver find themselves trapped. The freedom they once celebrated has become a prison. The crimes have become too serious, the consequences impossible to ignore, and the fantasy of life on the run finally collides with reality. Their relationship remains strong, but love alone can't fix the damage that's been done. The tragic beauty of Caroline is that neither character is truly evil. They're two lonely people searching for meaning, searching for belonging, searching for someone who understands them. And they found that in each other. The problem is that they also brought out each other's most destructive impulses. Oliver gave Caroline freedom, but he also introduced her to crime. Caroline gave Oliver love, but together they pushed each other further than either might have gone alone. By the film's emotional finale, Caroline is forced to confront the person she has become. The innocent gas station girl is gone. In her place stands someone shaped by loss, love, mistakes, and hard choices. The movie ends on a bittersweet note, not as a celebration of crime, but as a cautionary tale about chasing freedom without understanding the cost. It's a story about identity, about loneliness, about the people we become when we're desperate to escape our lives. And most importantly, it's a story about a question that echoes throughout the entire film. How do we know if we're good people pretending to be bad, or bad people pretending to be good? Maybe that's why Caroline stays with you long after it ends, because it doesn't give an easy answer. And sometimes the most dangerous journey isn't the one across the country, it's the one inside ourselves. If you enjoyed this movie explanation, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next movie recap. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.